I think some of the earliest memories I have with being truly impressed with something I made was as a kid when I would incorporate some existing music into a video I was editing. You know, I would go to YouTube to MP3 and download, you know, the Requiem for a Dream theme and put it in a silly video, and suddenly that video is so epic. You know, music is sort of this filmmaking cheat code to exaggerate the emotion and make things immediately cinematic, even if you're shooting on the video mode of a Sony point and shoot. You know, somehow it just has this power to really elevate the material. And as a kid, you know, working on like a Windows Vista computer, like that was a newfound superpower. It's like, oh, we could just use these songs, you know, these songs that people used to have to license and everything. Is like, oh, we could just use them and throw them in our shit. And I did that many times. Many of the videos on my channel, especially like from the first like 8 years, have copywritten songs out the wazoo. But sadly, as your career goes on, you can't just put a Led Zeppelin song in every video you make. So eventually you have to pull back and look at other resources that you can use. And that's where you wind up using royalty-free, copyright-free music, because unless you're a composer yourself, you're gonna have to find music elsewhere. And that's what you wind up doing. And there's tons of great resources of royalty-free, copyright-free music. Many of my videos in the last couple of years use Epidemic Sound, you know, and then Kevin MacLeod, the legend, that guy has made hundreds of royalty-free music that, you know, that we hear everywhere, every day. But another big one I want to shout out that has been a huge help and resource to me is this artist named Aviators made a fully royalty-free album called Infinity Awaits Us, and it's just this great sci-fi score, and I swear to God I've used that a dozen times in my videos. And it's just so cool to have music at your disposal, and especially music that you could own the rights to your video still, and you can monetize it, and you could feasibly build a career while still having this epic music. But sadly, it's a bit fickle finding royalty-free music. You know, a service like Epidemic Sounds covers your license, you know, for one specific channel or this or that. But if I wanted to take any of my shorts that I use Epidemic Sound for, I potentially couldn't make like a DVD or Blu-ray version of that. You know, it only has an online license. So it's hard to find stuff that is truly like Creative Commons public domain. And so another last good resource is Muse Open has a lot of good public domain classical recordings, and I've used that many times. But this is leading me to an announcement, and it's that last year for all but one of my movies, I made 12 movies last year, and for all but one of them I had original music composed, these grand soundtracks, a one-off song here and there. And I got to thinking, I'm like, okay, I have this big library of music, literally over 100 songs, if not hundreds, and I'm like, I could do one of two things. I could be overly precious about it and be like, these songs are just for these movies. They can't be heard anywhere else, you know, this music is just for these. Or I could do something better, and that is, I want to make these songs available to you guys. So below in the description, I'm going to link a convenient zip folder containing every piece of score from the 12 movies last year. And those pieces of score are now officially Creative Commons for artists to use. I think I want to use a little caveat here. Companies can't use them, corporations can't use them, but for personal use, artists can use them. You can monetize your videos with it. You just can't re-release the music yourself. You know, that's always the little thing. You can't just go on Spotify and release this whole score soundtrack yourself, you know. But you can use it, and I want to make all this music free for you guys to use. And I think it's just one way to pay back all these years of other artists and musicians helping me get those vibes in my videos, you know, and you know, Aviators especially, stuff like that. And we have a lot of great stuff here, and I think I just want to use this video to talk you through it. But the download link is in the description. It includes all 12 movies, but the Joel and Trent friendship movie does not have any music. That's start to finish, no music. So there's nothing in that folder. But otherwise, there's 11 great scores for you guys. If the movie included like diegetic, like somebody playing a song, that's not in this folder. But otherwise, all score, even some musical numbers, all that is just free for you guys to have fun with and incorporate into your art. And if you do, please tag me. I'd love to see what you guys make. And lastly, last piece of little upkeep here is each score, it credits who made it. So they were either made by my friend Mikey, my friend Kevin Sloan, my friend Drudel, my friend Trent Zalkowitz, or a weird mix. The Diarrhea movie had songs by all four of them and my friend Cam Raleigh. And there was a couple guest tracks here and there. My friend Otis made a song. But I talked to these musical artists and they're totally game to do this. And all I ask is I'm also going to include donation links in the description for some of the artists. And if you do feel inclined, please support Mikey, Drudel, Kevin, if you want, because they did fantastic work for these movies and it's really beautiful. And lastly, include a credit if you want to. I'm not going to be a stickler. I'm not going to be working 24/7 to make sure you're getting the credit right. But if you do use one of the songs, maybe just say like, they all have titles. So you could just say like, you know, this song from this movie by this artist, you know, like you just give the credit when you can. That would be greatly appreciated by me and the musicians who made this music. But I'll give you a quick tour. Firstly, we got the Caleb movie. That movie has no music except one final song called Snow, a really beautiful sort of song by Kevin Sloan. I could see it used in a number of ways. Up next, Anyone Else But Me has a very sort of ambient soundtrack. It's very like kind of intense at times, sort of droning, and you know, that's sort of like a crime movie, and it has those sort of vibes if you need that. Then the text, I've included in the text, Ben Ball plays a piano theme diegetically, but I've included his recording he did of it for The Call this year. So the theme from the text is in the text folder, free to use. It's just a very beautiful sort of looping piano theme. And then Hello My Beautiful Creatures. This is the jackpot of all jackpots if you're an artist. This is an hour and a half of music. Mikey went crazy for this movie. I mean, this movie's 2.5 hours and we have an hour and a half of music. We got musical numbers. We got just like beautiful orchestral epic swelling pieces and more subtle like plunky like toy sampled sort of stuff. So there's so much stuff in there to have fun with and just go crazy with. And if it fits the video you're making, please use it. And then we have It Just Takes Time, the movie I made in Oregon, and my friend Drew made a beautiful score, super like ambient vocals as like instruments, and it has like such a what's the word? Such a longing sort of vibe. It just feels like passing time, which is sort of the movie. But that I could see that having a lot of beautiful uses as well. Then Hiccups is a rom-com. It's got some really beautiful piano compositions by Kevin Sloan. Just some cool like electric guitar pieces that went with certain scenes. The credits song is really cool. I think those would be fun to use. And then the doozy of all doozies is the Diarrhea Brothers, because it just has so much in it. It's just like, I just put it together today and it has like 40 tracks. And you know, it's got everything. Like Drew did half the score, Drudel, and then my friend Trent Zalkowitz did the other half, and it's like anything from the dorkiest little like French sounding like we're delivering diarrhea, and then like these epic showdown orchestral emotional pieces by the end, and everything in between. So that one, just make sure I've labeled each track with who it's by, so if you are crediting, just like take note of who did which track in that movie. And then Love Celeste, Mikey did a beautiful like Middle Eastern inspired ambient score to that movie, and it has a lot of sort of like, I listened through the soundtrack. This is another note I want to make. Mikey released all of his scores on Spotify. So Hello My Beautiful Creatures, Love Celeste, you know, you can listen to the entire soundtrack and I'll put that in the description too. And Drew also released his It Just Takes Time soundtrack on Spotify. So give those listens, give them some support. But Love Celeste plays as this really cool ambient album that's sort of a war between like chaos and dark energy, and then like these lighter, more hopeful, like melancholy pieces, and it sort of reverbs between those two, and I just love what he did with that music, and it has those cool Middle Eastern instruments sampled throughout, so that's super cool. And the next is the Ninth Movie. There's only a few tracks on this one. Mikey did some instrumental tracks, one that plays during a movie in the movie, and then a montage song, and then the credit song is Fuck It Trent Cube. If you've seen the movie, you know what that is. I don't know how you would use that song otherwise, but be my guest. And up next, 10th is the Friendship Movie, I think. Nothing there, no music, silent. I just left a folder there for people who are OCD like me and don't just want it to skip to 12 or skip to 11. At 11 is Your Point Girl. All we really have from the Point Girl movie is Mikey made this house tour EDM sounding track for like the TikTok at the beginning. So but Mikey did like 4 or 5 iterations of that. So there's a bunch of unreleased tracks there, and those are fun to play with. None of the songs from that movie are included. Someday we might actually record them and release them, but for the time being, it's just that opening track, that house tour EDM, which could be very useful. I've had many times where I've needed something like that. And lastly is Coming Home, the documentary about visiting my mom. Drew made such a gorgeous soundtrack for that, as well as his friend Zach Scribner, who provided a lot of guitar and some tracks of his own. But yeah, that one has so many cool sounds. Drew was using his voice as percussion, and it played really cool. And there's some really beautiful swelling sort of, not orchestral, but just like synthy pieces there too. So yeah, a lot of music. Like literally, I'm making 100+ songs, Creative Commons. I think that's the right attribution. I'll make sure, but that free for artists to use on their personal work. You know, if you make a video on YouTube and you want to monetize it, you can. You're not going to get flagged. You want to make a video on TikTok, monetize it, be my guest. You wanna, I don't know, put a short film in a festival with this song? Sure, be my guest. As long as you're not some corporation or company, I don't want to support those fuckers. I don't know if Disney would want anything to do with the Diarrhea Brothers score, but Disney, stay the hell away. And yeah, I hope this is an exciting announcement, because I know as a creator, as a filmmaker, making weekly uploads, I was always on the hunt for more music. Because as great as what's out there is, and you could be creative and you can make do with it, it always felt so limited. You know, you'd search like copyright free, royalty free on YouTube, and for the most part, a lot of them you have to buy licenses, and they're kind of expensive. And if you're not making any money off your uploads, it's like, oh, do I really want to spend $30 to license this song when I'm getting like 100 views? Because that was like a conundrum I was in often. I was like looking for music I could actually use. So at the very least, I figure it would be a cool thing to add to that pool of usable songs. So link in the description. Check it out if you're interested. Share with me if you use any of the songs, and give credit to the musicians. Consider donating to them. I'm gonna get donate links from them and put them in the description as well. I love you guys. I love movies. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.